Alright, so Chapter 6.3, Day 2. Yesterday we introduced the most important elements of the process. The most important fundamentals, because it was fundamentals of the process called elimination. Remember that the overall goal of elimination is creating two opposites, one positive, one negative, so that we can eliminate them. And then we ended the introduction with two terms and practice matching the value that was still in the problem after eliminating x, or finding the value that was in there. So let's look at a couple examples of what we did yesterday before moving on. Again, yesterday what we did was we saw these two things. We recognized that 4 and x meet at 4, and so we multiply the top by 4, and because this is already there, we left it alone. We distributed to get 4x, 28y. Here stayed the same, 4x minus 2y. And then what we did to create opposites is we switched our bottom row to get this to go away and to make 30y, which was our stopping point yesterday. We also, whenever we had numbers on both parts, we learned that we simply bring the 3 up and bring the 5 down, distributing 15x plus 9y, distributing 15x minus 5y. Needed opposite, so we switch signs. That goes away, giving 14y as our answer. And again, that is where we stopped yesterday. The best news for today is that you're only going to have to add one more term to your work. As long as you remember to multiply by everything and switch all three signs, then this will be an easy day. Let's just look at some examples before we practice for ourselves. So your directions today, tomorrow, and for here on out are going to say find y. In other words, eliminate x, find the value of y. Notice it's pretty similar to what we did. We still do the same thing. The whole thing here gets multiplied by 3. The whole thing here gets multiplied by 4. That becomes 12x. I'm going to write off to the side. That becomes 9y. And 17 times 3 I need to do on my calculator, which is 51, equals 51. This becomes 12x. This is minus 4y. That equals 12. Notice that 12x isn't opposite yet, so we switch everything. And by everything I mean 1, 2, 3 terms. All have to be switched. Then we add everything up. This cancels out. 9y and 4y make 13y. 51 minus 12 is 39. Now notice how easy this algebra is. If I want to find y, I get rid of 13 by simply dividing by 13 to find out that y is 3. That's it. So you pretty much add one more step to what you did yesterday, which is making sure you know how to divide those two things, but that's all. Alright? So we're only adding the one step to what we did yesterday. In our last lesson we would have ended up with 5y. Today we just end up with 5y equals 15, where we divide and find the actual answer. So let's try a problem here again before we look at what you're going to be doing today. Alright, so again, find y here. This 3 needs to come up. That 3 is already there, it's left alone. To work this out, we do 3 times x, 3 times 2y, equals 3 times 9. Here, 3x minus y equals 13 because it did not change. We need to switch all the signs though, which means that this gets negative, that becomes positive, that also becomes negative. You need to make sure your negative sign is not above the equals, so always try to leave some space there because people tend to overlook that. Either way, when we add those up, this goes away. That makes 7y. This makes, is that 40? Interesting. That is 3, that is 27, 3, 6, yep. So anyway, now you do divided by 7 on both sides, and you get y equals, and let's just make sure 40 over 7 is reduced. And it is, so y is equal to 40 over 7. There are fractional answers. I just didn't think there were any on your notes, so that's my fault there. Today's work on the worksheet, of course, is going to have some scaffolding, so you can verify it on Math Excel. Of course, there is no scaffolding because you have me to tell you what you're doing wrong, or you have others to kind of assist you with what you're doing wrong. I hope you don't have people doing your work for you. That's really not going to help you in the end, but we'll see what happens. Again, couple examples here. 3x and 7x. This 7 comes up. This 3 comes down, giving me 21x plus 7y equals 42. This gives me 21x minus 6y equals 3. I then need to get rid of the 21x, so I switch all my signs there. This goes away. 13y equals 39. Once I'm here, I divide by whatever is attached to y, getting y equals 3, which means that my answer is B. And just like on last week's quiz, this is what I am grading. That is just there to help you understand that you might have made a mistake, because if none of these answers match, it means you messed up somewhere. But that, again, that's on the worksheet, so you know on the worksheet that you messed up, whereas on the computer it's actually going to tell you that you messed up. If you miss it a couple times, again, just bring your computer over. I can try to get you back on track. Other than that, the last one we're going to look at here, 2x and x. Again, all I ever focus on is my x's in the first place. 2x and x means I'm going to multiply the bottom by 2. This stays the same. This becomes 2x plus 2y equals 8. I multiplied everything there. 2 times x, 2 times y, 2 times 4. Switching all my signs, again, scribble out any pluses there. Gives me this answer. 3y minus 2y is just y, or 1y. 10 minus 8 is 2. That means that my answer is here, and I have it right. So, with that said, it's time for you to go ahead and try it on the Math Excel after you do the lesson credit. Again, make sure you do the lesson credit if you want your grade to not drop just because you're not following directions. So get that done, hand it in, go to your Math Excel, and let's see what happens. Good luck today.